Hello everyone and welcome now to game 3 in this series between Kaz and Shortsutff. I do believe it's game 3. Hopefully they did not upload the replays out of order. And game 3 taking place here on Entombed Valley. Kaz spawning as the blue Terran player on the bottom right hand side of the map. Meanwhile Shortsutff spawning on the top left hand side of the map as the red Zerg. Zerg versus Terran. Zerg versus Terran. And we've really seen a lot of late game Zerg antics come in from Shortsutff, and I think that's really the way Zerg is just designed to be played now. With Infestors, with Broodlords, with Fungal Growth, and Infested Terrans, Zerg has a very deadly high gas tier 3 composition. Now, how does Terran stop that? I've talked to a lot of professional players and they pretty much said, don't let the game go past mid-game. If you let the game go too far, especially up against a Zerg player, you will end up losing, as you can't really fight against that composition of units. Now Shortsutff has been forcing the point by playing very defensively and not really overexpanding, as you've often seen a number of Zerg players do. I've mentioned this before in a previous game. When you are even on bases as a Zerg, the Zerg player naturally feels, okay, I need to get up another base. I need to get up another base. And that's fine when you go from 1 base to 2 or 2 bases to 3. But when you go from 3 bases to 4, your 4th base options are rather limited. And because they are rather limited, you tend to overexpose yourself. We saw in a game between Shortsutff, who I believe is Alicia, and Grubby, that actually on the same exact very map, that Shortsutff really stayed on a limited number of bases for a long time. He played it cool, he played it confidently, and he just waited himself out and got himself the necessary resources. We are going to see Kaz open up with the command center first this time around. So a very fast command center coming in from Kaz, and with that fast command center, he's going to have a very nice economic boost. And we also see a second barracks being placed down. So this is fast command center into double racks now, most likely 4 mass marines. And Shortsutff, we'll see if he goes off of his typical gameplay. He could try to change things up and go for, say, 2 base roach pressure, but Shortsutff has had such a strong combination and a strong gameplay, or just strong gameplay in the late game, that he may just be happy playing a macro game. Now it's going to be up to Kaz to get up his bases and very quickly just start placing down pressure. And once he does have 2 bases and the Zerg player has 3, that may be the right opportunity to initially strike when you have marines and siege tanks, not necessarily medevacs at that point, as what you're really trying to do is you're just trying to punish. If you get those medevacs, the Zerg player is normally strong enough to repel that force, as the medevacs don't really add any additional DPS, obviously, just higher mobility and longer stim. But then again, the Terran units don't generally last all too long in the early game either. Alright, Overlords now making their way into the base here. We are going to see double barracks on the front door, and we are going into a fast 3rd command center by Kaz. So Kaz really trying to develop a strong economy. You're going to see exactly that with that 3rd command center. 3 mules early on, and each mule mines as effectively as, I believe, 6 SCVs. So he essentially will be running on almost 2.5 bases of minerals. He will just end up strip mining these bases faster. Queens now making their way over. It looks like they're going to start trying to take down these destructible rocks. Is it actually double attack? Yes, it is. So even though, if you guys did not know, this is actually the acid spine. It has 2 attacks with a range of 5. It is not the acid spines for the air. And with that, the range, even though the animation, it looks like 1 dart, it is actually 2 darts actually firing at a time. And each of those darts deals, I believe, 4 damage. But because these rocks have 3 armor, each of those darts are actually dealing 1 damage each. So these rocks have a long time to get taken down. 2 damage a second. 4 damage a second total, so that's what, 500 seconds. So in about 7 minutes, we can go ahead and check up on those destructible rocks, but now the Zerglings are joining in on that as well. Alright, let's take a look at this. Orbital Command now calling in some mules. We are going into very, very heavy barracks play once more. 3 more barracks being added, or 2 more barracks being added, and this may just be that straight up siege tank marine play that we saw, that I was suggesting. Now, the additional mules will definitely help out with the overall marine numbers. He is not going to have stim or combat shield, as he's really going to be investing heavily into siege tank and siege tech as the main source of damage. There you go. Blue flame. Wow. Alright, so blue flame now being utilized instead. We are going into a reactor, so this is going to be a blue flame pressure, which I'm not quite sure I know Kaz's overall plan. Kaz, a much better player than I am at this, by far, but I question this decision, and I wonder how much damage he's really going to be able to deal, especially on a map like Entombed, where it's so easy for Zerg players to get in between bases. Alright, a 3rd command center now trying to land. However, Shortsutff 1 step ahead of them, already bringing over an Overlord to spew some creep, and it will take a little bit of time for that to get taken down. Overseer now doing a bit of a flyby as well, and oh, Shortsutff may end up losing. Nope, doesn't lose that one there, as a Marine may end up getting taken down. And wow, that is going to be absolutely annoying, as the Zergling underneath the Overlord is like, hey man, I got you. Alright, the Zerglings are in position. The destructible rocks are going to fall here. There is this one Overlord, the Marines making their way over. Gonna clear that up, and now we'll see what Shortstuff's strategy is gonna be. Shortsutff is up on 3 bases. He's in a comfortable position. Most likely will be establishing gas faster, but we are going to actually see roaches come in from Shortsutff, and now that I think about it, I don't think we actually saw a roach in Game 1 or Game 2. So with no roaches in Game 1 or Game 2, we can take a look at Kaz, and Kaz's strategy has really been a lot of Marines and Blue Flame Hellions, but he's going to be now going up against roaches with Glio Reconstitution, and this tech switch may be just enough to cause some problems. Alright, Overlords are in position, gaining sight up, or Overlords are in position, sight up on the high ground here. We're going to see a bit of cancellation on those creep tumors. Beautiful, beautiful map sense by Shortsutff to cancel those creep tumors and then re-push out with them in just a moment. You can see that there is also the Center Zelnaga Tower, and if Alicia is actually able to cast it up onto the high ground here, he may be able to just circumnavigate around the Center Zelnaga Tower. Alright, Marines are in position here. Combat shield not yet upgraded. Still just getting stim. Armory upgrade now being added as well. And a brilliant timing there. I really like Kaz's timing overall, as he's been able to get those continuous 2-2 upgrades pretty effectively. Now Kaz on the move. Will he be able to deal any serious damage? Hellions dealing a little bit of damage here. Now trying to go up against, but now going to be battling up against roaches. Roaches so fast, even off of creep. Yes, a movement speed of 3 even off of creep, and almost just a little bit slower than a stimmed Marine, as we are seeing Marines and Marauders, or just Marines, excuse me. Marines now heading back home. Combat shield now being added. Level 1 armor upgrades, and now a 4th command center being established here, most likely for this location and a planetary fortress. Overlords now spewing creep every which way, anywhere and anywhere they can, pretty much, hoping that he can slow down the expansion of Kaz. Shortsutff also sitting on now 81 drones compared to 75 SCVs. And Kaz, I've got to say, is in a much better position in Game 3 than any of the games I've seen so far. So we're also going to see a bit of a push here. Banelings are being added. The movement speed on those Banelings are done. And where are these Hellions going to go? The Hellions are now going to try to run into some Banelings, and oh, this could be a slaughter here. The Baneling just splashing and tearing apart all of these Marines. Down they go, and also Zergling's going to finish off that siege tank, and in 1-1 attack, all of a sudden, Kaz's advantage has been neutralized. Alright, some drones are going to get torched here. How many workers have been destroyed? Only 9 at this stage, as the Hellions are going to try to finish off the Zerglings, able to do exactly that, but now a spine crawler has shown up and decided to poke it apart. 3 more mules now being called in here. Heavy barracks production with some starport production now. More command centers being added as another overlord is going to get shot down here. Now Kaz could benefit from all of these orbital commands, utilizing mules and mules alone to start mining, allowing him to have a much larger supply army. I think that's what he's going to need to do in order to get back in this game. Get so many command centers that he can have a full 160, 170 army while still having a very effective economy behind him. Let's take a look at the army compositions. So far, pretty even. 96 drones versus 81 SCVs. Zerglings trying to test the front door as the supply depots raise up just in time. We are now going into a sensor tower, and where are these Marines going to be traveling off to next? We are going into a planetary fortress here. Mules are mining out this position as well. The SCVs also just simply going to work. We are going into a command center here, and here, will they be upgraded to orbitals, or will they just be lifted off and landed as planetary fortresses? Marines now in position, still pushing forward here. Creep tumors are being placed down, and one roach will have a very bad day, but not after taking down a Marine. And where are these units traveling off to? Planetary fortress not yet done upgrading. SCVs trying to repair. It looks like they will be able to repair as the Banelings getting a couple key splashes, and down goes the planetary fortress. Nicely done, but this is going to turn into a base trade, as this base is going to fall very quickly as well. Zerglings quickly falling over. The siege tanks not even bothering to siege up, knowing that if they are in siege mode, they actually deal a little bit less damage. Drones now falling over as well. Banelings are going to get splashed apart. 1, 2, 3 Banelings getting taken down alongside a whole large group of Marines. And we now see perhaps some siege tanks could be checking out this base over here on the 1 o'clock position. Banelings now crashing over, and it looks like the Marine splitting is not strong enough for Kaz, and Kaz is going to end up losing this army once more with a beautiful flank by Shortsutff. Shortsutff now with a 10 supply advantage. A new planetary fortress already being landed. SCVs being transferred over. An orbital command off here. How many harvesters? It is now 67 to 87. As we are going to be going into a command center or into a planetary fortress, perhaps some siege tanks should be in position to destroy Zerglings and Banelings before they find their target. Ultralisk now being added with the Katonis plating. I believe that is going to be a base 6 armor. I believe I'll have to double check it in just a moment, but very high armor, especially against Marines. Marines are not going to really be able to shoot past that very thick armor at all. You can see level 3 ground carapace with Katonis plating already being added. And where is that Ultralisk going to be hatching from? All right. Extractors now coming into play. Shortsutff running on 5 bases. The main base pretty much mined out. 1 Vespian Geyser has yet to be taken. Wow, that's a weird move by Shortsutff. He's nearly mined out his main Vespian Geyser, but he has yet to take out his main gas completely. These extractors are already low on gas, as well as we now see some medevacs making their way over, trying to do a bit of a drop. Not going to be nearly that effective. Meanwhile, Zerglings and Banelings, siege tanks, Ultralisk, planetary fortress already down, and so many roaches coming back around. 1 additional supply depot here, or even another building here, would have been the difference between 1 dead planetary fortress and 1 alive one, as we now see Marines just getting shot apart once more. New command centers to replace the one that were already destroyed. Kaz trying to stay on top of everything, having a very difficult time doing so, as spine crawlers are now once again in position. Marines are dropping, and is it going to be able to take down the Queen? Yes, it will be able to take down the Queen, but Banelings have arrived as well. Kaz going to lose all of his drop force here, but going in for another drop here, as the medevacs are now going to be unloading those Marines. Banelings now making their way over. The spine crawler is taken down, and this base here at the 1 o'clock position looks like it will get destroyed. The siege tanks up on the high ground don't have much defense, as everything was now lowered to the low ground. Are they going to be able to shoot down this one hatchery? Hatchery is already at half-life. It looks like it could be falling here down to 430 hit points, but no. 1 Baneling giving its all to save that hatchery, and he will be remembered. All right. Mining still going on at the naturals here. Heavy production from Kaz, but with 18 production buildings, still unable to slow down the Zerg at all. This time, not seeing Infestors, not seeing Broodlords, seeing Banelings, Zerglings, and Zerglings, Roaches, and Ultralisk. The Ultralisk there pretty much to absorb damage. Yes, it is a base 6 armor, meaning that Marines are only dealing 2 damage a shot right now, especially without the level 3 weapons and armor upgrades. Alright, so how many shots does it take to get to the center of an Ultralisk? Over 250 if you account for natural regeneration from a Marine. Marine is still trying to finish off some of these drones here. Will be able to do exactly that. The drones, some of them drones are falling as the Marines are trying to fight back here. The Spine Crawler with 2 armor should be able to fend off here, and gonna go ahead and pick up those units and perhaps have them live and fight another day. Alright, Zerglings now trying to push in here. There are a lot of Marines and Marauders. Siege tanks trying to be in a very good position. Banelings getting blasted apart as the Zerglings are now simply in full retreat mode. This one barracks now needs to be repaired. It is on fire in a bad way. SCV trying to make its way over, getting pushed around and able to barely just save it. Alright, this barracks was 30 hit points away from being on fire as well. SCV is going to be working overtime to fix all of this here as another engagement. Banelings all clustered together. That could be a really bad splash hit there. Marines melting away, but with so many siege tanks, 12 siege tanks, this might just be enough. The siege tanks now pushing their way forward, gonna look to destroy this destructible rocks here at the 9 o'clock center expansion location, and once these rocks go down, this base is going to fall. It looks as though Kaz does have a much higher bank. And here we go. Marines and Marauders gonna finish it off very easily. Looking for the counter movement of Zerg. And here it is. Zerglings and Ultralisk now perhaps gonna be moving straight up down the center. And how much damage can they do? Kaz now needs to retreat. And Ultralisk now coming in. This is gonna be bad position here. The siege tanks now sieging up. I think that was actually a bad move. I should have left them out of siege mode to focus on the Ultralisk, as you lost 4 seconds of attack time trying to siege them. That would have been, what, 12 siege tanks with 3 attack each, 36, at least 1 or 2 more dead Ultralisk. As we now see the Ultralisk are trying to retreat again. The Marines getting off some free shots there. Another Ultralisk does go down as we see a planetary fortress with, count them, 7, 8, 9, 10 mules mining away. Why would you over mule a base like this? 2 mules cannot mine at the same time. Mules will be dancing back and forth, but then again, we know that Kaz is more mineral strapped than anything else. Perhaps should have started to try to mine from here. Oh, what is this? You can actually see the current number of harvesters on mineral patches. That's kind of cute. Ultralisk and Zerglings still coming back around here. Siege tanks now making their way over. And Kaz does have a supply advantage. But what is this? Shortsutff now establishing up on more bases. And if he's able to perhaps do a transition tech, I'm surprised he has not gone into Broodlords yet. As those Broodlords are just so effective. Now, trying to clear out these destructible rocks, not much really going on here at all. They're going to make their way up the ramp, see that there's nothing here, and then perhaps try to strike into the top right starting location. These buildings and wherever the Terran army is, this is going to be a bit of a problem, but there's always an early sensor indicator as the Zerg is now trying to swarm in. This is going to be bad. Banelings are going to find their way in, and only to see that there's a whole bunch of Marines and Marauders there alongside as support. Kaz perhaps should be getting some additional SCVs to repair these siege tanks. Siege tanks are very expensive units, as we're going to see mass Marines just simply walk in here and try to take down these bases. Banelings now melting away a whole bunch of Marines. This hatchery looks like it will be falling, but no, the Zerglings are now making their way over. Another retreat coming in, and what's going to be happening here as the Banelings are now rolling their way over as well. The Marines now need to run and split. Are they going to be able to do exactly that? The Banelings have backed off as there are more Banelings being added. 185 versus 147 still, and Kaz now needs to consider perhaps trying to take up another base once more. This is a prime location, as Shortsutff will not be able to strike at it anytime soon. Siege tanks now doing a slow line here. Are the Marines going to be able to deal any damage? It looks like they're going to be going up against this one Spine Crawler. The Spine Crawler doing a great job doing some defense, but the Marines are going to be able to finish it off. Meanwhile, Marines and Marauders catching a whole bunch of Banelings as they're trying to be made. The Banelings are all running away now as this hatchery looks like it will get surrounded here in just a moment. Down it goes, and where are these units all going to be retreating to? This group of Marines now trying to take down another spine crawler here. It looks like it will work as Banelings and Ultralisk were able to take down this command center in a matter of seconds. 188 versus 157. That front door is pretty much wide open. Kaz needs the siege up here, and these units could be coming along the backside here in just a moment. Siege tanks are ready to go, but there is no sight up onto this high ground. I love this flank by Shortsutff, minimizing the amount of surface area. One Marine now sitting up on the high ground to act as a spotter. I hate to be that Marine because you know that Marine has a short lifespan. Marines and Marauders still trying to battle it up here. This hatchery may be falling. This hatchery going to fall to 3 Marines as these Ultralisk and Banelings are looking for the proper timing. There are simply too many siege tanks, and with those siege tanks, it is going to cause problems here, trying to get those units closer. All right, the more I look at this, Kaz is now sitting at 196, Shortsutff sitting at 167. SCVs are going to start doing some long distance mining. Another Overlord coming into position here. Where are these units possibly going to go? Siege tanks are in position as the Banelings get quickly destroyed. There's still a base on the top right. These siege tanks perhaps need to make their way over there. No, simply going to ignore that base on the top right, perhaps knowing that it's their siege tanks now sieging. And is it going to be in time? A lot of Banelings simply getting destroyed, a lot of exchanging, a lot of siege tank death as Shortsutff comes in with a beautiful flank at just the right opportunity. And wow, what a strong flip once more. 140 versus 131 as the medevacs now trying to fly away. The Queens may be able to get off some easy shots. No, not going to be able to. And we are sitting at 143 versus 137. Just a couple of Banelings and finding their way into a group of Marines, and Kaz is once more behind in terms of supply. Siege tanks in position. Siege tanks are ready to go. Banelings splashing apart once more, and the high mobility of Zerg simply causing problems as Kaz now retakes the supply advantage. Harvester advantage 65 versus 44. 9 siege tanks, a whole bunch of medevacs as scanner sweeps are now trying to slowly destroy and recede all of this creep. Now, take a look. There are some idle SCVs going on here. Some Ultralisk and some Zerglings trying to come down the front door. Are they going to be able to make anywhere? No, as another hatchery falls. So both places are everyone just losing a lot of their bases now, as we only have one mining base left for Shortsutff. No, there's actually another mining base here. A very gutsy mining base, I might add, as Marines are getting to get off some easy shots. Does Kaz know about that? No, he does not, as Zerglings have made their way inside the main base and is now destroying some of the production buildings. Alt Overlords now making their way over as well. And Zerglings, once they're able to run rabid inside a base, quickly destroy bases. You can see only what 8 supply of Zerglings inside the base, and this is causing so many problems. Marines now trying to fight back as the Zerglings are just going to be running rabid again, and that may have been the or the final tipping point, as Zerglings inside a base causing problems, forcing a larger response. And now it looks like mining has stopped here once more. 150 versus 128. Pretty decent mining here for quite some time now. 500 minerals from each mineral patch. Pretty much 1/3 of the mineral patches have been mined out, longer than the ones over here and even over here as well. Siege tanks now making their way in, but the Banelings don't care any longer. They're just going to be trading up against siege tanks. When the siege tanks are that closely placed together, you can straight up splash against them and take down and deal a lot of damage. Still, a nice drop by Kaz now cleaning up the base on the top right hand side of the map. Is it going to be enough? More Banelings could be morphed in here in just a moment. Perhaps Marines will be able to jump back inside those medevacs here in just a second. No, it doesn't look like it, as this is going to get cleaned up. A 30 supply advantage between these two armies, and we are still battling it out. Mules mining away once more. Medevacs now need to retreat back home. Are they going to be able to make it back? Yes, they will, as another base has been spotted. Zergling's going to run rabid once more and get inside this base again, taking down supply depots and perhaps starting to supply block Kaz. Kaz now down, no longer has 200 free supply to use. Mules need to be starting to be called as well, as we are going to see a lot of these bases just absolutely destroyed, and Kaz will probably study all of these replays and figure out what went wrong in each of these games, what was the tipping point, as Shortsutff has just been has been able to just clean up every step of the way. Alright, let's take a look at what's going on over here. Mules, 8 mules mining away at the 7 o'clock location. Meanwhile, let's take a look at what's going down over here. We have some factories, not much being produced. Kaz has a whole bunch of gas that he's sitting on. He's got to feel very uncomfortable just under all of this pressure. Zergling's now cleaning up this drop here. Kaz, every time he feels like he's going to be able to do some damage, isn't able to do very much. A drop now up on the high ground, perhaps going to try to clean up some of those Zerglings. The Banelings will be able to make their way over, and another pick back up once more. Are they going to drop onto the low ground again? Yes, the Marines are going to be able to snipe down one spine crawler. Zerglings now making their way over, and this is just a game of jump to the high ground, jump to the low ground, and jump back. So far, Shortsutff with so many bases taking up 3/4 of the map now, and I don't believe that Kaz realized how far behind he is. Let's take a look at the harvester count. 63 to 37. Terran army is slightly larger, but we are going to see many more units replenished by Shortsutff with his superior economy so far. Still has not mined any gas from his main base. As you see, the planetary fortress has been destroyed. 148 versus 139. Both sides still exchanging blows, and Kaz once again coming out ahead and actually able to take down the hatchery there. So utilization of siege tanks and their superior range, able to destroy a hatchery once again. Alright, let's take a look at the map once more. These bases are starting to get low on minerals. 2/3 of the gas minerals have been mined out. You can see more and more medevacs making their way over. No Spire coming in from Shortsutff still, as the Zerglings are finally going to come back around, swarm this location, and force the medevacs to pick up their friends. Alright, siege tanks coming into position. Perhaps orbital commands will be lifted off and landed once more. Kaz could have lifted off and landed this one. Not quite sure why he didn't at this point, as Kaz is still building up supply depots to replenish the ones he lost. Still without a Spire, which is really a surprise here. Actually, no, he has a Spire, but he hasn't really been going into heavy Mutalisk play at all. Baneling's going to get cleaned up here. And have I even seen a Mutalisk on this game? This game has been going on so long that I don't remember what tech is available to anyone any longer. Alright, in comes another attack force here. Marines are going to clean up this in just a moment. Down goes the hatchery. Broodlings now hatching in just a second here. And so far, the Spire is up. No weapons or armor upgrades for the air, as Zerglings are now finally making their way into the main base. Too much ground for Kaz to cover, as the Zerglings are going to take down the refineries and now also take down all of these supply depots here, perhaps supply blocking Kaz. Zerglings now making their way off here. There's still one barracks left. Units are still backing off again. All of these buildings will get taken down. The refineries don't even need to be destroyed, as they have already been mined out. Let's take down some of these supply depots as well. Let's take down the engineering base. And pretty much you can't tell where the starting location was any longer. Alright, Banelings, if a Marauder dropped first, that actually would have been a very smart move to absorb a lot of that Baneling splash. Instead, Marines were dropped and were getting killed pretty quickly. Alright, let's see what's going to be happening off over here. We could have another, nope, no more Marauders to drop down here. Zergling still cleaning this up. Shortsutff now with over a 50 supply advantage. Kaz unable to retrain any more units. He is down by so many supply depots that even if he rebuilds all of the supply depots, he won't have any minerals for an army to replenish. Zergling's going to clean this up here, and it looks like Shortsutff should be able to come out on top. Nope, a very, very good position here by Kaz, keeping alive some of his units. And I guess the bright side of the story is Kaz is no longer supply blocked and able to train up more units once again. Zerglings just hiding out underneath here. We could be seeing some Zerglings, yes, taking down the production buildings here as well. Marines and Marines and Siege Tanks finishing off the last Spine Crawler as a large number of Zerglings, a large number of fully upgraded 3/3 Crackling Zerglings making their way over. Alright, Zerglings looking to swarm in here, able to sneak by and get in some easy shots, easy damage. Gonna finish off the army, and there is the GG. Well played, well won. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this best of 5 series. Kaz losing 3 straight games to Shortsutff.